is going on, Misfit Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Matt the Misfit. I apologize for my long break here. Again, over the week, I was sick with a cold, with a lot of stuff here, so I apologize that I didn't get a pile driver pulse up like I promised, or a Raw, or an AEW Dynamite review. So, and I'll talk about all that's good. I'll probably talk about all that this Sunday on the Pile Driver Pulse. That will hopefully return this Saturday or Sunday. Big weekend ahead of us here. We got SmackDown. Of course, we're going to go over SmackDown for November the 17th, 2023. We're also going to go over the predictions for the two shows that are happening tomorrow. Of course, we're talking about STARDOM's Gold Rush 2023 pay-per-view, which is in 3 or 4 hours. So I'm going to get this out before the show airs. And then we got Full Gear tomorrow night, which I'm going to go over as well. The schedule for that, I'm going to let you guys know on that schedule at the end of the review here. If you like what you see here, hit that like button, comment down below, hit the subscribe button. YouTube.com/@MisfitWrestlingPodcast. You can follow the social medias. Twitter, @PileDriverPulse on the Twitter, like I said. On the audio outlets, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Audible, and Pandora. A lot of things I want to talk about here. We had Santos Escobar decide to commit a murder verbally on Rey Mysterio, which I thought was one of my favorite things on the entire show. Becky Lynch joins the joins the women's WarGames team and all that stuff here. And we opened with Damage CTRL, the ratings draw. Well, the draw in Io Shirai, the real tribal chief of SmackDown Live, shows up with her bands, with her friends at toe. Io Sky, of course, with Bayley, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Dakota Kai here. So Bayley comes out. She welcomes the fans of SmackDown, says Damage CTRL doesn't want to share a huge moment like this with a bunch of dum-dums, which is actually not true, because I guarantee you Io, Asuka, Kairi do. She says that her plan to bring Asuka into Damage CTRL has been one of the top moments in WWE history. Then says that, then calls her idea brilliant. Says the new and improved Damage CTRL is the strongest faction in WWE. Says that they're playing chess while everyone else is playing Candyland. This is Charlotte, Bianca, and Shotzi. We're not ready for Asuka. Io Sky and Kairi Sane. They had this look of, what the fuck is she talking about? They start talking in Japanese. Bayley has this concerned look on her face a little bit and asks what they're talking about. Dakota says that there's someone in this ring that isn't part of the new and improved Damage CTRL. And people are like, ooh, are they getting ready to? Because I thought they were getting ready to turn her on her right then and there. I'm like, they're not going to just go ahead and jump this already, are they? No. She's talking about Asuka. Bayley then makes one by offering her a shirt. Asuka takes it. Dakota says that Sky, our Io, challenged the baby faces to WarGames. Bayley's like, what? Yeah, but yeah, that's what I wanted to do here. Shotzi music hits. The tank rolls out by itself here, but Shotzi and Co come out and try to take over the ring here, but Damage CTRL ended up obviously standing tall at the end of the segment. And then we go to the back here before we get down to the triple threat match, which we'll talk about in a second here. So they were saying, well, we need a fourth member, and in comes Nick Aldis, who is saying, well, you better find out who that fourth member is. I'm going to need to know by the end of the night. And it's like, well, they're trying to find somebody. And a thing that wasn't really attached to that segment in particular, or into that whole thing here, but was minutes later on here. Nick Aldis opens the door, and I'm like, there was somebody in the door. I didn't know who it was at first, and then I'm like, is that Cody Rhodes? Yes, Cody Rhodes was in the office of Nick Aldis. He came to help Solo Sikoa, or later on in the night, or not Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, and later on night. We'll talk about that in a second here. The Street Profits defeated the Brawling Brutes and Pretty Daily to earn a shot at the Judgment Day and the Undisputed Tag Team titles next week. This match was actually a lot of fun here. But near the end is what everybody was talking about here. Butch, or Pete Dunne, I don't call him Butch, sorry. Pete Dunne looks to hit a bro kick onto Elton Prince as Ridge Holland holds him in place, accidentally gets kicked in the face. Instead, does Ridge Holland. Angelo Dawkins tags in and as Elton Prince dumps him out to the ring. Dawkins dumps Prince out of the ring, which I don't know how that's wordly weirded here. And Street Profits delivered a sit out powerbomb neckbreaker combination for the win. They get the win here. After the match here, Ridge Holland leaves Pete Dunne alone in the ring. It seems like they're teasing a breakup between the Brawling Brutes, and I want it because I want singles Pete Dunne back, please. Lashley is watching the match here along with B-Fab, who walks into the thing here. So throughout the night here, we see Bianca Belair trying to get a team member for WarGames here. Michin, who was in WarGames, who was on Bianca's team last year for WarGames, alongside I believe last year's WarGame, which was 5-on-5, though it's only 4-on-4 this year. But last year Bianca had Mia Yim, Alexa Bliss, Asuka was on that team, and I believe, and the fourth woman and the other woman on that show, the team we'll find out when we'll talk about at the end of the night here. But you know, it's a little different this time because now Damage Control, outside of, you know, it's basically the same Damage Control with Kyrie and Asuka on that team now. So there's that. A match was actually a humper of a fucking match here. Dragon Lee, Axiom from NXT. I don't think this is a call-up. I think it was just a showcase of match here. This match humped a lot of fucking humps here. So one point of the match, Axiom delivers a moonsault off the top to Dragon Lee out of the ring, gets him back inside the ring, ascends to the top rope. He looks to go flying. Dragon Lee moves out of the way, connects with the kick, ascends to the top rope. Axiom meets him up there, but Dragon Lee drapes him across by the knee, delivers a double stomp to the chest. Axiom fires back with a drop kick and a German suplex, and hits a running kick. Lee plants him. Dragon Lee plants him with a brain buster. Looks to look for a power bomb, and beautifully counters that. Does Axiom into a Canadian destroyer. Dragon Lee ascends to the top rope. Axiom catches him with a kick, then gets up onto the top rope, executes a beautiful Spanish fly before Dragon Lee delivers a single arm power bomb and a running knee. He follows that up with a Uppercut Dragon, I believe that's what it's called. I'll just call it Destino because that's what I know it as, for the win. 1, 2, 3. Dragon Lee gets the win here in an excellent banger of a match. And, you know, I put this out on Twitter earlier. I said, you know, I'm not opposed to the Cruiserweight division coming back if Triple H is the one booking it, because Triple H actually gives a fuck about the Cruiserweight division. So I would not be opposed. I don't think they're going to, but I'm just saying I would not be opposed to it. After the match, they give a show of respect there. Does Axiom and Dragon Lee here. Then we got one of my favorite parts of this entire show with Santos Escobar verbally assaulting Rey Mysterio. Says there's something that he needs to get off his chest. The crowd starts, I guess, pipe and boos started happening here. He says he comes from a rich lucha libre tradition, and every member of his family has been labeled heroes. He says, despite that, Rey Mysterio was his hero and modeled his career after him. The other members of the LWO watched what Santos was saying backstage. he tells Rey that he became a father figure to him. He says Dominic Mysterio was right about everything he said about Rey Mysterio, and says he deserves, and he being Santos Escobar, to be the United States champion. He says he wanted to rebuild the LWO, but Rey took it over and brought in new members like Carlito. He says he knows Rey is watching from his hospital bed, and he hopes the pain and suffering reminds him of how he betrayed him. He agrees to apologize, but apologize not for doing more damage. And this is the part that fucking went so dark. And I'm like, did this motherfucker hang out with Christian before this show? He went full Christian Cage here. He says, I hope your surgery didn't go well. I hope you get an infection, and I hope they amputate your leg so you can never return to the WWE again. Dear fucking God. Santos Escobar brutally assaulted this man verbally, and he's not even there. The LWO is watching this behind here. Zelina Vega comes away, makes her way down to the ring here. Vega asks Escobar what he's doing, and the pair to begin to argue. Escobar tells Vega that they're done. Vega slaps him across the face. She storms to the back. Cruz del Toro and Walking Wild meet her on the ramp to check on her. Escobar asks them if they're really siding with Vega over him. The pair join him in the ring. Escobar tells him that things can go back to the way they were with Legado del Fantasma, and Escobar tells Wild and Del Toro that he never needed them, which is true. I don't think he really did. Says that they were dead weight, and the pair looked ahead to the back before they can. Escobar blindsided them, but Carlito comes out of the ring to provide the helping hand. Escobar retreats. This was a great segment. So far, I'm all in on this Santos Escobar heel turn. This match at WrestleMania, because it seems like this is going to be the match at WrestleMania, Santos Escobar versus Rey Mysterio. This should be mask versus hair or something like that. Mask versus hair or something like that. Or something along the lines here. Because this is going to be awesome. I'm excited to see where this is going to go here. I was not expecting to get the promo to go in that direction, but holy shit. That was great. What wasn't so great was Grayson Waller versus Cameron Grimes. I did not give a shit about this. Grayson Waller gets the win for the Dingo Driver or whatever. Who fucking who. We did see a clip from last week of Kevin Owens getting suspended for beating up Austin Theory and what the fuck is his name? Grayson Waller. Bianca Belair chatting with Zelina Vega, but that didn't last long because immediately coming back from the break, Damage CTRL beat up Zelina Vega, and I'm like, I'm okay for the rest of the night if Damage CTRL just start murdering people. Because I'm like, for shits and giggles, I want them to murder Tamina, Charlotte, not what Charlotte, what's her fucker name? Scarlett, and whoever the fuck else is on that, whoever I'll be fab on that, and just be for shits and giggles here. And then we got something I didn't really care about here was the Solo Sikoa stuff here. I'm not even going to go over this promo because I just didn't give a shit about it. And I didn't give a shit about LA Knight coming out here. But near the end of that here, Bianca Belair's backstage tells Charlotte Flair they've got options. Charlotte says she needs to make a call. Bianca suggests that she needs to make a call, and Charlotte agrees. Or makes the call, and then Charlotte goes to go on the phone to ring a friend here. I didn't really care about this. Jimmy Uso is fucking terrible. Okay, if I'm being honest here, LA Knight's not that good in the ring either. This match was bad. BFT for the win. I did not care about this. After the match, Solo Sikoa reemerges here. They start beating up on LA Knight. Cody Rhodes music hits. He comes out of the ring and just helps out LA Knight. There was no explanation given, by the way, of why he was on the show. I mean, he was there for... Realistically, he was there because he had a dark match after SmackDown. But storyline purposes, No explanation was given. Nick Aldis said, "You gotta go," and Cody apologizes. That was about it. That's as far as that went. We go backstage here. We see Bianca and Shotzi asking Charlotte if she made the call. She says she did, but she didn't know if the person that she called will be making it in time for whatever here. The main event segment here. We see Charlotte, Shotzi, and Bianca come out here. She says, Flair says that they could stand in the ring talking about damage control, what damage control has done tonight, but time is running out tonight. Or time has run out tonight. She formally accepts the WarGames challenge. She knows a thing or two about turning on a best friend. She says that if they're going to war, there's only one person that she wants on their side. Damage control comes out here. Bayley says she knows Charlotte's bluffing about having a fourth member of their team. She says she won't make it to WarGames or out of this building tonight, as Kyrie, who is the most unserious wrestler, by the way, because earlier on the night where they were beating up Mia Yim, Kyrie just beating her up with the damage control shirt, which I thought was hilariously adorable, and then her rocking back and forth on the middle rope like it's a teeter totter. Let me Kyrie saying, I'm so happy she's back. But before anything could happen, Becky Lynch with no music just comes from the crowd, slides into the ring here. She is revealed as the fourth member of the team. All 8 women start brawling as Dakota Kai watches because she obviously can't get physical right now. Though the Dakota Kai is the master of jacket catching. Flair levels everyone on the outside, hits them. It's everyone the moonsault except Io Sky, stares her down before attacking the women's WarGames competitors. Continue to brawl as the show goes off the air. I hope to God they don't plan on taking the title off of Io after Survivor Series, because I am worried now that's what they're going to do based off that whole thing as well. So, the current card for Survivor Series is as followed. We have the men's WarGames match, the Judgment Day, which is it's currently 4-4, which is Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough taking on the team of Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and Seth Rollins. As of course, what we saw on Monday night, Drew McIntyre looks to be being added to that match, and the rumor is that Randy Orton will be the other member of the babyface team. Damage Control, which is Bayley, Io Sky, Kairi Sane, and Asuka, will take on Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Shotzi, and Becky Lynch. Gunther will defend the Intercontinental Championship against The Miz for some reason. Rhea Ripley will defend the Women's World Championship against Zoe Stark. And Carlito will take on Santos Escobar. There's rumors of Logan Paul defending the championship on Survivor Series. We'll find out if that's going to happen or not. And maybe Shinsuke Nakamura might or might not have an open challenge. We'll find out on that as well. So overall, SmackDown was mostly was just built around everything that had to do with the damage control, the set WarGames for next weekend. The go home show for SmackDown will be on FS1, and we'll see. We might get a WarGames team advantage here. I would love to see Kairi and singles match take on somebody. You know what? To give her a win, to have her face off against Shotzi, just to get that out of the way there. But yeah. Other than that, I don't really give it shit to see LA Knight and the Bloodline taking it up again. Though it's nice to see Cody Rhodes back into the whole thing with the Bloodline here. It is obvious at this very point in time that the main event for WrestleMania 40 is going to be, for night 2, is going to be Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. So there is that. All right, let's go over the 2 pay-per-views that are going to be coming on this weekend. We got Gold Rush. We're going to go over that first because that's the first show that's going to be happening. Gold Rush is going to be taking place in Osaka, Japan, for something here. Last night, this morning, I watched New Blood. West 1, we've seen the debut of a wrestler named Yuzuki, who is, I believe, 18 years old. Had a phenomenal showing against Momo Watanabe. We've seen an excellent match between Hanan and Mei Sarai in a time limit draw. That was awesome stuff here. Also, we've seen Saya Ide, not Saya Ide, Suzu Suzuki and Yuna Minozori have a great match as well. But Lady C lost on her birthday, unfortunately. So, but let's go over this card here. We have two. It's a tournament match here. 2 trios matches. The winners of those trios matches will go into the finals of the Moneyball Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 6-woman tag match. One match is which is the current Artists of Stardom Tag Team Champions, Julia Thekla and Mai Sakurai. They will take on Oedo Tai's Natsuko Toro, Momo Watanabe, who just celebrated her 9th anniversary as a pro wrestler. So happy anniversary to the Black Peach. And Ruka. That's going to be one match there. I would like to see Oedo Tai get the win here. But I don't know. I'm going to go with Oedo Tai. I know there's rumors going around with Julia. We'll go over the stuff with Julia on Sunday. But I'm going to go with Oedo Tai here just because. Why not here? And then we got Hazuki, Hanan, and Sai Idai of Stars. They will take on Konami, the returning Konami. I'm not so sure if Saki Kashima is going to be on the show. As far as I know, she was pulled from the show because she has, I believe, a neck injury, a minor neck injury. And Ami Sarai. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But personally, I would like to see Konami get on the show twice, but it's probably going to be Hazuki again because it would be fucking hilarious to see Hazuki break the ball again. And for the winner of the Moneyball Tournament Finals, I'm going to go with Oedo Tai for that one. Shuri and Alyssa Inc. in a UWF Rules match. I'm just going to go with Shuri out of the gate here because this is her match here. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're doing with Shuri currently. I don't know what her plans are for Dream Queendom. But I'm going to go with... I don't know much about Alyssa Inc. So I'm just going to go with Shuri on that here. So there's that. Mei Sarai will defend the high-speed title against Momokoka Hanazono. I apologize if I butchered that name here. May's going to retain the championship here. Just really no at one point taking the title off of her. I'm still upset that they took the title off of Saki Kashima because I still think the bigger story should have been building up Rina to be the one to challenge Saki at some point for the title, but that's not going to happen here. I'm not sure what the main event of this show is going to be, so it's either going to be the Wonder Stardom Championship match or the 3-way here. We got the Wonder Stardom title, Mirai defending against Soriano. I want Mirai to fucking drop the title so bad. So, selfishly, I'm going to pick Soriano here. I know that's not going to happen because I feel like they're going to go back to Mirai and Momo Watanabe based on how the Halloween Dark Knight show played out. Because that was all set up on Oedo Tai, which was beautifully done, by the way. But my heart says Soriano, but my brain says Mirai on that. I'm not sure if this is going to be the main event. It's probably going to be the Wonder title match. I don't know. We have no idea here. But originally, it was supposed to be Suzuki challenging Tam Nakano for the World Stardom Championship because, as we do know, Suzuki won the 5-star Grand Prix, and she chose this show to challenge for the title. Unfortunately, Tam Nakano got hurt in her match with Natsuko Toro at Golden Fight, so now we're down a match here. So now it's a triple threat match. It's going to be Suzuki versus Azumi versus the returning Starlight Kid. Suzuki should get this win here, and hopefully still get her title match. And I'm hoping they put that on Dream Queendom, and that's where Suzuki should, not if, not probably, should absolutely 100% win the World of Stardom Championship. Because then you can go into, depending on how long Julia's going to stick around for, you can have Julia put over Suzu if you want to. But at All-Star Grand Queendom, you build up Micah as the challenger for Suzuki at All-Star Grand Queendom, and then Micah should win the title from Suzu. That's how it should be. Probably not what they're gonna do, because the Hat Man has this fucking infatuation of doing Saya Kamatani versus Tam Nakano. And I'm telling you right now, if Tam Nakano does not get cleared until Dream Queendom, you strip her of the title. I don't give a shit how well she is. I don't give a shit how popular she is. You strip her of the title. Do not hold your world title hostage. She's not Roman Reigns. Do not hold your title hostage. But the three-way match between Suzu, Azumi, and Starlight Kid should be a lot of fun. So should be probably a match of the night, probably one of the matches of the weekend. If we're it might be the better women's match, if I'm being honest, because I don't trust the booking of the match on Full Gear, which we're gonna go over here. Full Gear 2023. More matches was announced for the show here. So we got two new pre-show matches here. Eddie Kingston would defend the Ring of Honor or World Championship against Jay Lethal. Eddie Kingston's not losing that fucking title and so close to Final Battle. Before anybody asks to know, I'm not going to review the Final Battle as a single show. I'll probably just talk about it on the Pile Driver Pulse podcast when we get there. But so yeah, Eddie Kingston should not be losing the ring. Eddie Kingston, the only person she should be losing that title to is Mark Briscoe. That's just me. MJF and a to be determined tag partner will take on the Guns for the ROH tag team titles. I think Samoa Joe's going to be the partner, and I think Samoa Joe's going to screw him over on the tag team titles, because right now I don't think MJF needs the tag team titles, because your focus should be on the world title, not the fucking tag titles, on a show that you're never going to appear on. So what the fuck is the point there? Match that was also announced: Buddy Matthews versus Claudio Castagnoli. I'm just going to go with Buddy Matthews here. This match is going to slap. It's a match a lot of people wanted, including me, when Buddy Matthews signed with AEW. Same thing with Claudio. I don't think we ever got this match in WWE, which is bizarre to me that we never got Buddy Murphy versus Cesaro, and they were on the same. They were on the same brand a few times. But I don't get it. Sting, Darby Allin, and Edge. Yes, I'm calling him Edge. I'm not calling him Adam Copeland. Versus Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne. Sting should not be losing any matches until his final match at Revolution here. So I'm going to say Darby gets the win on Nick Wayne, pinning Nick Wayne here. Chris Statlander defending the TBS Championship against Julia Hart and Sky Blue. This is where the title should change hands. I understand why they didn't do it I personally would have done it at Wrestle Dream, but she was going on her honeymoon, so it's fine. But Julia Hart should absolutely win the TBS title here. She's mega over right now. You strike. This is one of the instances where you do strike while the iron's hot. Not what WWE, not what y'all wanted to do with WWE and Sami Zayn and LA Knight. Here, this is where you absolutely need to strike while the iron's hot, because it's not really going to affect what storyline's being told. It's not going to affect this bigger picture here. So Julia Hart should win here, pinning Chris Statlander to retain or to win the TBS Championship. Speaking of her fellow House of Black members, Ricky Starks and Big Bill will defend the AEW tag team titles in a fatal 4-way tag team ladder match now, because that was announced as a ladder match on Collision against LFI's Roos and Dralistico, FTR's Cash Wheeler, and Dex Hardwood, or Dex the Axe, whatever the fuck they're calling him now, and Malachi Black and Brody King and Kings of the Black Throne. Personally, I would like to see the House of Black winning the tag team titles, but I think FTR and House of Black are going to cancel each other out. I think Ricky Starks and Bill, Ricky Starks and Big Bill are going to retain the tag team titles here, because I think they're going to go and challenge to the winner of the next match, which is Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho versus the Young Bucks. If the Young Bucks lose, then Jericho and Omega get their tag team title match. If the Young Bucks win, then Jericho and Omega must disband. I'm gonna go with Jericho and Omega to get the win here. Unfortunately, I like Chris Jericho. I like Kenny. I love Kenny Omega, but Chris Jericho's right now is I'm at the point where I don't give a shit to see him on television. But where was I going with that? Anyways, this is where we're gonna have the heel turn for the Young Bucks, because I think whenever they do the tag team title match, which they might do on a Dynamite, or they might do it on a World's End pay-per-view, the Young Bucks are going to cost the Kenny Omega and the Jericho tag team titles, and that's what I think is going to happen there. A match that I'm absolutely looking for. Well, I'll save that for a second here. Orange Cassidy, Jon Moxley, International Championship. I do not want to see Jon Moxley. I love Moxley, but I do not want to see Moxley win that title back. The dude needs a fucking break. But they're probably going to put the title all back on Jon Moxley, just to go back to doing whatever they were telling with it. That story, whatever they were going to tell with him. I'm absolutely looking forward to the match. I'm probably looking forward to the most on this out of this entire show. Hangman Page, Swerve Strickland, Texas Death Match. Oh boy, this got personal on Dynamite. If you didn't watch the show, not this show, the Dynamite show, Hangman ripped into Swerve Strickland, also then showed up on Revolver, beating up Swerve because they couldn't get into contact on Dynamite, which I thought was great stuff. Reminded me of the old AEW when they were doing crossover stuff to help build a feud, like they did for, oh my god, was it Pro Wrestling? Was it Rev Pro when Pac was on the show? He was supposed to wrestle somebody, and he ended up having the match with Hangman that went to a disqualification or something like that. I think it was a Rev Pro show. I'm not 100% sure on that one. I have to go back and look. But if the plan is to do a third match at World's End, Hangman Page absolutely needs to win on Saturday, because I don't want to see a third match if Swerve just ends up winning again, because Swerve won clean at kind of won clean at Wrestle Dream, and if he wins here again, I'm not gonna give a shit about seeing a third one. So I think Hangman Page is gonna get the win here to accept a rematch here, and this time I think this could be like a steel cage match where Prince Nana doesn't get involved here. And he can possibly swerve when he drives on the outside. So Hikaru Shida defending the AEW Women's title against Timeless Toni Storm. Timeless Toni Storm is one of my favorite things on AEW television right now, and I love it. Personally, so this is interesting here, because they just introduced a new storyline for Mariah May, from Stardom, and I love the story they're telling with that here. Now, I know a lot of people saying, well, Mariah May is going to help Toni Storm win the championship. Kind of. See, what I think is going to happen here, I think Hikaru Shida, in my opinion, should retain the championship due to Mariah May, but not because Mariah May wanted her to lose. Not because she wanted Toni Storm to lose. I think Mariah May is going to come out. She's going to try to help Toni Storm, but actually end up costing her the match and the championship And Mariah May is going to try to apologize multiple times to Tony and said, I didn't mean to do that. I was just only trying to help. And to me, it adds more character to Toni Storm not having the championship and her losing again, because she can spiral down even more, furthermore into madness. I don't think having the title will help Toni Storm in this at all here. So I'm going to go with the Hikaru retaining because of an accidental, because of Mariah May accidentally costing Toni Storm the match. Main event: MJF defending the AEW title against Switchblade Jay White. If I had it my way, Switchblade Jay White would be walking out of Full Gear as the AEW champion. That's not happening because they've kind of set it up for World's End to be MJF versus MJF versus Samoa Joe. So MJF is going to retain here, and she's going to be taking on, hopefully, Samoa Joe at World's End. The surprise signing. So Tony Khan put out a tweet back in not yesterday. It was on Wednesday. Said the following here. If I can find what I'm looking for here. He said he said the following here. Okay, so he tweeted out at what was it? At 5:34 p.m. says AEW has agreed to terms with one of the best wrestlers and pro who is known and respected by virtually every AEW fan. They'll come to LA to sign their contract this Saturday on pay-per-view at AEW Full Gear. So Andrew Zarian pointed out onto Twitter, or not Twitter, it was on his Pyro Driver Pulse, his podcast that. Okay, so here's what Andrew Zarian had to say here. He says, I was told, if you don't want to know here, skip a few minutes ahead here. I'm warning you now. 1, 2, 3. Okay, spoiler room brawl. Andrew Zarian, Matt Men Podcast, reported on his podcast that he was told that the big signing for Saturday is Will Ospreay. That's a big deal. A big deal because WWE was actively pursuing him because he is presented as Wrestler of the Year. PW Insider put out a statement about Will Ospreay and said the following here. If I can find here, said PW Insider put an update on Will Ospreay's contract status. For clarification, yes, indeed, his contract is set to expire in February of 2024. However, New Japan Pro Wrestling has given him the blessing to explore contract talks elsewhere. This lines up with Ospreay hired attorney Barry Bloom to handle his negotiations. The report also notes that multiple companies have expressed interest in signing Will Ospreay. That includes AEW, WWE, and TNA. Earlier today, Andrew Zarian of the Matt Man podcast suggested Will Ospreay might be the new signing for Full Gear, and PW Insider was able to confirm that report. Fightful also was able to confirm that same thing on their Q&A show with Sean Ross Sapp earlier about it being, Will Ospreay. So, and people I've talked to have also told me that is Will Ospreay. Tomorrow at Full Gear, Will Ospreay will become All Elite, signing his AEW contract. And it looks like Tony Khan has bought out the remainder of Will Ospreay's contract. So there is that. So there is that. Ronda Rousey. I'm gonna give a little Ronda Rousey news since I've brought that up here. Ronda Rousey is at AEW Collision. She is going to be part of the Ring of Honor tapings to do a rematch with Athena, taking a rematch teaming with Marina Shafir to take on Athena and Bayley Starks from last night's Revolver show. It does look like that final battle is going to be Athena versus Ronda Rousey for the Ring of Honor Champion Women's title. So there is that. Other than that, I don't have anything else to talk about here. So there is that. But yeah, I don't have anything else to talk about here. I've been Matt. This has been the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I will see you guys back here tomorrow afternoon rather, for the Stardom Gold Rush review, and then tomorrow night for the Full Gear review, and then Sunday for the Pile Driver Pulse. That is the plan for this weekend. And then we'll get back to Monday through Friday for WarGames, because next weekend is the go-home shows for Survivor Series WarGames. Will he or won't he show up? That being Phil Brooks, CM Punk. Who knows? We'll find out. I'm not holding my breath. I don't really care anymore. If he shows up, cool. If not, whatever. Sunday, we're going to talk about Julia and possibly going into WWE. At this point, I feel like it's more likely that she's going to go WWE besides the other guy that was talked about here. That is Kazuchika Okada. It has interest from WWE. He's not going to WWE. Let's be fucking real there. And what does all that mean here? And much, much more. I've been Matt the Misfit. This has been the Mr. Wrestling Podcast. I will see you guys back here again for the Stardom review tomorrow. Until then, we're out.